The movie opens with Lynn, a quiet young girl who seems lost in her own world. Her father, who earns very little, dreams of sending her to a good school.
ทำไมพ่อถึงอยากให้หนูย้ายมาเรียนที่นี่ขนาดนี้อ่ะ
โรงเรียนเนี้ยเด็กที่จบเนี่ยได้ทุนไปต่อเมืองนอกเยอะมาก
When he meets the headmistress, he proudly tells her that Lynn is a bright student who has won several awards in her previous school.
เกรดเฉลี่ย 4.00 ตั้งแต่ป .1 นะที่ดีเด่นม .1 ถึงม .3 ชนะเลิศ cross first ระดับประเทศนะ
After listening to him, the headmistress assures him that there is no problem admitting Lynn. She then turns to Lynn and asks if she is excited to study there and whether she wants to join the school. Lynn quietly replies that she is not. Surprised, the headmistress asks if she dislikes the school.
ไม่ใช่ว่าหนูไม่อยากเรียนที่นี่นะคะเพราะว่าถ้าย้ายมาที่นี่ปีนึงพ่อต้องจ่ายเกือบปีละ150,000 ค่ะ
The headmistress corrects her, saying that the fee is about 120,000 won. Lynn then calmly lists out the total annual expenses, including lunch and petrol, calculating everything in her mind without using a pen or paper. Impressed by her quick and precise calculation, the headmistress declares that Lynn is indeed a bright student and offers her a full scholarship so she can study without any financial worries. And just like that, Lynn secures her admission into the school. At school, Lynn befriends a girl named Grace, who struggles academically. One day, Grace somehow obtains the upcoming exam questions. Lynn helps her by explaining all the answers, but even after repeated attempts, Grace fails to understand them. On the day of the exam, it is revealed that a teacher had leaked the questions during his private tuition sessions, which Grace used to attend. During the test, when Grace sits helpless, unable to write anything, Lynn decides to help her. Since the exam consists of multiple choice questions, Lynn quickly marks all the correct answers on her paper. Grace retrieves the eraser and fills in her answers accordingly. However, now Lynn is missing one shoe. To help her, Grace slides her own shoe towards Lynn, but it gets stuck in the walkway. Before the teacher can notice, Lynn gets up, puts on the shoe, submits her paper, and walks out. Outside the classroom, Grace thanks her for the help, and her boyfriend Pat joins in, expressing his gratitude as well.
ชอบชมให้เราฟังบ่อยๆนะว่าลีเรียนเก่งอย่างงู้นอย่างงี้เรายังเคยบอกเก๋เลยว่าอยากมีเพื่อนสนิทๆแบบนี้บ้างอะ
He offers Lynn money as a reward. Though she initially refuses, she later discovers that her father has been secretly paying her school fees despite her scholarship. Realizing how much financial burden he has taken on, Lynn feels guilty and begins to worry about how he manages everything. Eventually, she decides to accept Pat's offer. Later, Pat tells her that he has 5 friends who also need help in their exams, and each of them is willing to pay 5,000 won per subject. Since there are 12 subjects that year, Lynn calculates that by helping 7 students, she can earn around 4.2 lakhs won. Gradually, her bank balance starts to rise. To make her cheating system more efficient, she invents a new strategy called the piano technique. Under the guise of piano lessons, she invites the students to her home and uses finger movements on the piano keys to indicate which options, A, B, C, or D, are correct. On exam day, the students are supposed to observe Lynn's finger gestures to mark the correct answers. As the next exam approaches, a new student named Bank joins the school. He, too, is academically brilliant. One of his classmates offers him 5,000 per subject to let him copy his answers during the exam, but Bank refuses. That same classmate, who had already paid Lynn but failed to understand her finger movement system, now turns to Bank for help. When Bank declines, the student is left with no choice but to rely entirely on Lynn's finger signals during the exam. Eventually, Bank notices what is going on and begins to uncover the truth behind Lynn's secret cheating network. The exam begins with the teacher announcing that the paper will be set in 2 versions this year. Some students will receive set A and others set B, which leaves everyone visibly shocked. Lynn happens to receive set B and signals to her group that she will relay the answers for that set. The students follow her finger movements and mark set B accordingly. When the group submits together, Lynn quickly swaps papers with the student beside her, who has set A, and uses the borrowed sheet to work out and mark the answers for set A. Before time runs out, she relays those answers as well. The other students copy them down, and the adjacent student, noticing Lynn's blank name field, asks whether he should write his name. Lynn tells him to leave it blank. After the exam, the teacher discovers Lynn's unnamed paper and asks her to write her name. The headmistress summons Lynn. The nearby student accompanies her and questions whether Lynn copied his answers. Both initially deny it, but Bank explains that the other student had asked him for help and, when he refused, resorted to copying Lynn's answers. The headmistress compares question and answer sheets and notes that the two students had received different sets, so copying seems impossible. She sends them back. However, on closer inspection of Lynn's scratch work, she finds that Lynn has also solved set A problems despite having been given set B. When pressed about this, Bank accuses Lynn of doing it for money. The headmistress then uncovers evidence of Lynn's piano lessons and the payments involved, phones Lynn's father, and reprimands him harshly. She cancels Lynn's scholarship and announces that only Bank will be permitted to sit the scholarship exam, effectively removing the opportunity from Lynn. Crushed, Lynn returns home and is berated by her father, who orders her to return all the money she earned and even throws away the new clothes she bought. Meanwhile, an investigation reveals that the student who copied from Lynn had been supplying answers to others. The cheating ring has been exposed through the big exam. The story moves on. Grace visits Pat's parents for dinner. They tell her they plan to send Pat to a private college abroad, where he may even receive a scholarship. They urge Grace to accompany him and promise to cover her expenses and arrange their marriage if she helps Pat pass the entrance exam. Grace asks Lynn for assistance. After considering the problem, Lynn devises a scheme. Since the exam is administered simultaneously worldwide, but according to local time zones, it will begin first at the Sydney Center, 4 hours before it starts at their Thailand Center. Lynn proposes to travel to Sydney, memorize that center's answers, and transmit them by phone. Because clients cannot be expected to memorize answers themselves, Lynn refines the plan. She will encode answers into the barcode of a pencil, with Lynn's thickness mapped to options A through D. A the thickest, then B, C, and D the thinnest. By distributing such pencils, clients could mark correct choices more easily. To scale the scheme, she urges recruiting as many clients as possible and offers to share the proceeds with Grace. The plan, however, faces a timing problem. The answers must be marked, memorized, typed, and sent within the exam window, a task too large for one person. Lynn therefore needs another prodigious memory. She wants Bank to memorize half the paper while she memorizes the other half, then split and send the answers, offering him a cut. She presents the proposal casually, but makes clear that the operation can proceed only if Bank agrees. The next day arrives with Bank scheduled to take his scholarship exam. However, before he can appear for it, a group of men ambushes him, beats him severely, and leaves him in a garbage dump. Because of this assault, he misses his exam and loses his chance at the scholarship. Bank's mother, who works tirelessly as a laundress to support his education, becomes the reason for his deep sorrow. He had always wanted to succeed for her sake, but now that opportunity is gone. Later, Lynn visits him to express her sympathy, telling him not to lose hope.
เรามีบางอย่างอยากให้แกมาทำด้วยกัน
ทำอะไร
แต่นี้พวกเราได้เงินคนอื่นได้คะแนนที่อยู่บ้านเกรซ
Bank eventually goes to the address, where Lynn reveals everything about her new plan. When he asks what his share will be, Lynn promises him 10 lakhs won. Curious, he asks about her own share, and she replies that she will receive 20 lakhs won, which leaves Bank stunned. After this, they begin preparing thoroughly for the upcoming cheating operation, deciding how to behave, what to write, and even rehearsing their responses in case they are caught. They practice various scenarios multiple times. How Lynn should react if she is caught, and what Pat should say if Bank is the one exposed. When Lynn asks Pat to demonstrate, he acts confidently, saying that he would claim to dislike Bank and accuse him of lying. Continuing his act, Pat jokingly mentions that someone had beaten Bank and dumped him in the garbage. Hearing this, Bank loses his temper and confronts Pat, realizing that Pat must have been the one who arranged the attack. Bank understands this because he had told everyone he was beaten up, but had never mentioned being thrown into the garbage, something only the attackers could have known. Furious, he lashes out, but Lynn intervenes, insisting she knew nothing about the incident. Still, Bank refuses to believe her and storms off. Sometime later, he returns to Lynn and says that what's done is done. He needs money now, and they have no choice but to go through with the plan. The two begin preparing rigorously and eventually travel to Sydney, Australia, to sit for the international entrance exam. The exam consists of 4 sections, with 45 minutes allotted to the first part. During this time, Lynn and Bank quickly solve all the questions and memorize the answers. In the 10-minute break that follows, they rush to the restroom where they have hidden their phones inside the flush tank, wrapped in plastic. They retrieve the phones and begin typing the answers to send to the students back home. But then, Bank decides to take advantage of the situation. Instead of sending the answers immediately, he messages the students on WhatsApp, demanding an extra 1 lakh won before he releases them. His sudden threat panics everyone, and the students begin transferring money in desperation. One of them replies that he has only 50,000 and sends it right away, begging for the answers. Once Bank receives the payment, he sends the answers as promised. Meanwhile, Lynn and Bank manage the entire operation with precision, preparing pencils marked with barcode-like patterns, labeling answers, and delivering the pencils to the students appearing for the test. They even hire bike riders to ensure the students reach the exam center on time. Everything seems to be going according to plan. In Sydney, after sending the answers for the first section, both continue with the second part of the exam. During the next break, they again head the restroom to transmit the new set of answers. But this time, things go wrong. Bank stays inside for too long, raising suspicion. A supervisor notices and alerts the exam staff.
Whoever isn't there, please step outside. Can you hear me? Come out.
Despite the tense situation, Bank manages to send all the answers and hurriedly deletes the message history. However, as he lifts the flush tank lid, it slips from his hand, breaks, and a fragment falls outside near the counselor, immediately arousing suspicion. In a panic, Bank tries to flush his phone, but it doesn't go down completely. At that moment, the counselor bursts in, breaks open the door, and catches Bank red-handed, cheating in the middle of the exam. During the exam, Lynn manages to send all the answers, but she doesn't have time to put her phone back because a supervisor is waiting outside her restroom. Thinking quickly, she hides the phone in her shoe and comes out. Fearing that a security check might catch her before entering the exam hall, she slips the phone into a gap in the drinking water machine, drinks some water, and takes her seat. Her quick thinking impresses even herself. As the final section of the exam, Section 4, begins, Lynn grows nervous due to Bank being caught, and she struggles to concentrate or memorize the answers. Suddenly, she recalls her piano class technique and converts the answers into a musical sequence in her mind. Acting on impulse, she puts her pencil in her mouth, intentionally vomits on her answer sheet, and claims she is unwell and must leave. As she exits, her father arrives at the exam center, questioning the staff about Lynn and accusing her of cheating. At the same time, messages containing answers begin appearing on their phones. To prevent her father from seeing them, Lynn and Bank lie, claiming that they are in Australia on a trip together. Lynn's father, shocked, leaves. Lynn retrieves her phone and starts running, typing and sending answers while moving through the exam center. At a railway station, she continues sending the answers. When she notices the counselor following her, she improvises. She puts coins in a nearby vending machine, retrieves snacks, stuffs them into her mouth, and discreetly places her phone in a woman's bag. When the counselor approaches, she vomits again, claiming urgency to leave for home. Now her explanation seems valid, and no one suspects her of carrying a phone. Although her own answer sheet is ruined due to vomiting, the rest of the students receive the prepared pencils with answer labels and, with the help of hired drivers, complete the exam successfully. Afterward, Lynn goes alone to the airport and explains that her answer sheet was damaged and Bank got caught, but reassures him that he took all the blame himself, protecting everyone else. Unfortunately, Bank is now blacklisted and will never be able to take this entrance exam again. Lynn's father confronts her, asking why she did all this. She hesitates, but eventually tells him everything, including that all the students she helped scored 1,460 marks since everyone had the same answers. She refuses her share of the money, though her friends urge her to accept it. She insists she doesn't need it. Eventually, their cheating is exposed at school, and both Lynn and Bank are expelled. Lynn finds a medium-salary teaching job and settles into it. One day, Bank contacts Lynn, revealing that he has bought many washing machines to help his mother's laundry business. He proposes another cheating scheme for exams like GT and PAT, claiming they could earn millions. Bank, once a good student, has now fully turned to wrongdoing. Lynn refuses, telling him she has made enough mistakes and won't repeat them. Bank blackmails her, threatening to reveal her past cheating and the names of all students she helped, potentially ruining lives. Lynn stands firm, telling him to do whatever he wants, and walks away, deep in thought. In the director's climax, Lynn ignores Bank's threats, confides everything to her father, and faces the investigation with him by her side. Her father reassures her, giving her courage, and together they navigate the scrutiny as the movie concludes. Make sure to press the like and subscribe button. It's just a small gesture from you, but it means everything for us, as it keeps us motivated to post more. And in the end, as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.